So let's start with the payload creation now. Okay, so the payload takes some time. Till that, I have to go to the go to the desktop to change the, you can say, the permissions of payload. As I have told you in the last lecture also, we have to change the permissions of the payload, right? Because it's not when it is created, it's not accessible by, not readable or not executable by others. So we have to get it into the other operating system or the other platform. So we have to get it permissions done correctly, right? So changing the permissions now. I think the payload is created on the, yeah, so payload is created and I have changed the permission as well. So yeah, the payload is created and the permissions are also changed. Yeah, we are all set to move to the MSF console now. So let's move to the MSF console. Okay, will take some time to start the MSL framework, and we are greeted with the banner again. So let's start with the commands, right? So I will be typing the commands now. So we are going to use the exploit, use exploit dash multi handler. Okay, use the exploit slash multi handler. Yeah. So the exploit is set. So now we have to set the payload. Set payload Windows slash meta creator reverse TCP. That's the payload we have. Sorry, that's the uh, exploit that we have also mentioned in the payload creation, right? So we have to configure the MSF console according to the payload created. So we are configuring the same console for operation to be successful, right? So yeah, the payload is set now, and let's set the L host now. L host was 172.1. Yeah, sorry. Let me check the IP once again, because of the IP yesterday's operation was not done successfully, right? So let me check the IP once. It's not pasting here. One 172.162.082. So yeah, yeah, the LS is set now. So let's set the L port now. The L port was 4444. Yeah, and then exploit to run the hold command as a operation, as a background command, also said as the daemon command, daemon operation. We have to get this command, exploit -j-z, and then start. Yeah, so we have got the response from the MSF console that everything is right. So now let me transfer the file from the Kali now to the victim machine, that is Windows operating system, right? So let me do it. Okay, so it's my base machine now. Let me open the Windows virtual box. Okay, so yesterday what was happening, that Windows Defender was Windows Defender was disabled default by default. So it was basically the operating system itself was detecting the file to be malicious. So I was not getting that. Okay, so that was the problem there. So yeah, now I've got the payload file, and whenever the user victim yeah, so as I have said, the Windows Defender is off now. So I have to get to the fresh installations, basically revert back to the fresh installation, because I have demonstrated this whole operation one time to before it demonstrating to you. So basically the Windows is recognizing the payload file. So basically I have to get the payload file as to be the first payload file delivered to the victim machine, so Windows would not recognize it, and it will be easy for us, right? Yeah, so it requires some time, because as I have reverted to the back version of the Windows, it will take some time, because it was a fresh installation which I have reverted to, and it's installing the basic compatibility, what we can say, the compatibility softwares and drivers, right? So it will take some time. Let's wait for this CPU usage to be at 50%, because it is at 100%. So we can conclude that the installations are at full swing now. So let's wait for 2-3 minutes. I will. Yeah, so it's decreasing. The CPU usage is decreasing now. So yeah, it's ready to. Yeah, so the file is pasted now, and when I start this file will execute smoothly. And when I start this file, I will get the response in the Metapreter, right? uh, I guess you can see here the Metapreter session 1 has opened now, right? So I will press enter, and I will press sessions -I. So you can see the active session Metapreter x86 Windows, Pranav Adkar. Since the victim operating machine I am testing on that. Okay, so let's get into that session, and let's explore the menu there. Okay, so the session ID is one, right? So we are getting to the session so interaction session, we can say console there, right? So there are different commands when we get the session open, right? So I will type the help to explore the commands there. So you can see there are many types of commands here. You can basically what we can say, exploit the users or victim machine by these commands. We can take the screenshot of that victim's machine and other things, right? So I will show you taking the screenshot of the victim machine, right? Yeah, so screenshot. So I've saved this right, so it's saved to home in Pranav. So yeah, basically that's the demonstration I have recently executed. So let me move to the this to the trash, and let me take a fresh screenshot there. So yeah, I took a fresh screenshot there, and as you can see, we are able to see the screenshot of the victim machine, right? So that's that's the function, or that's the operation. Whole operation I have told you once more, and there are many more options there, right? Yeah, so can we can actually get, we are actually in the victim's machine, right? So we can see the present working directory. We are in C, and the username and the home directory of the user itself in the Windows, right? So I can go to the C drive, right? C is like the root drive, right? So I can see the installation files and other things, right? So I can basically remove them, remove anything from the youth victims machine, right? I can also shut down victims machine, and I use the webcam as well. Webcam record, I will record the mic and audio of the your victim machine as well. You see the possibilities here are endless, because you get many types of functionalities here. Yeah, so this is the, you can say, the operation, whole operation that yesterday it was basically I got interrupted because of the Windows Defender. So now I changed the setting, and now it's working fine, right? Yeah, so we are done with the metasploit exploitation of Windows. Now I am going to move towards the uh, social engineering attack, right? So let's explore that. So let me close this and let me share the presentation now. So yeah, this is today's content now. So yeah, we have seen about the Metasploit. These are basic Metasploit modules that define everything that we have seen or demonstrated, right? The definitions or the brief introduction about exploits, payloads, auxiliary functions, encoders, and listeners, right? So yeah, it's done now. So let's move on to the social engineering attacks. So what are social engineering attacks? Social engineering attacks are basically the attacks performed by the hackers by basically we can say basically we can say getting into the user's lifestyle and extracting the data that he wants. Okay, social engineering is a term which is broadly used by a range of malicious activists to, we can say, to get the data from the user itself. They actually the actually social engineering attack is there are many types of social engineering attacks, but the basic definition of engineering attack is the hacker itself communicates with you and hacks into your system, extracting your password and other things, right? So hackers basically make you believe that he's a authentic guy, and basically he calls you and gets the information that that he intends to get, right? So basically he creates a situation in which we have to give you are forced to give the information to them, right? So basically social engineering attacks can be defined like this. So there are many types of social engineering attacks, right? So there is phishing, spear phishing, pretexting, scareware. uh, so let's start with the phishing attacks. So basically the social phishing attack is nothing but the hacker doesn't communicate with you directly, but he sends you malicious mails in which he will design the mail in such a way that it makes you feel that the hacker is authentic guy, and you click on the link and get your he gets your credentials and all other information extracted. So that's the phishing attack. So phishing attack is done on a broad category of a people, and for explaining or defining the spear phishing attack, this picture says it's all. So basically you can see the phishing in which it visualizes as the it's not done for targeting as a specific guy, but it's done to a broad category of people to target a broad category of people, in which if they find anyone they will extract him. It is basically not targeted for a specific person or specific individual. So phishing basically phishing means is defined like that. So moving towards the spear phishing is basically customized to be targeted for a particular individual, such as a particular individual of we can say high authorities, such as we can say company CEO or any company, important company executives, research individuals, and all other things in a specific organization. So spear phishing is done for targeting that specific person. That's the difference between phishing and spear phishing, and the definitions also says that all, right? So let's move towards the another type of social engineering attack, that's pretexting. Pretexting is basically a type of social engineering attack in which we can say the a hacker intends to be another guy, or a authentic guy, as I have said, but he will call you as a friend or as a relative of you and extract all of information of you, and basically you will not know. He will create a type of situation in which he will make you believe that he is a right guy or company executive, like we can like say that we get the calls from the call center, from our ISPs, for basically introducing us with different types of internet plans. So basically we can say the hacker can get into their network and call us and make us believe that they are the company's executive. Just in say we can say he could tell us that I am from your ISP provider, and I want this type of information, and he'll extract the information, and he will make us believe that he is the right guy, right? So that's the pretexting attack, in which he pretends to be another guy, but he is a malicious guy, right? So that's the pretexting attack. So yeah, these are the types of social engineering attacks I have, as I have told you. The last one is the scareware attack. The scareware attacks are basically the a type similar to the ransomware attack, in which the hacker uses, you can say, a malware to get all the information or get a ransom in the form of data or other things, right? He will basically, we can say, blackmail you based on your data, and by saying that he will get the data on the internet and all the other things, right there. So scareware is a type of social engineering attack, but similar to ransomware attack, in which he will basically blackmail you in that. Okay, so that's all the terms related to social engineering attack. The main motive of me to introduce you with the social engineering attacks are basically, I want to demonstrate a tool based on the social engineering attack, right? So let us start with the social engineering attack demo tool, right? So I will start the presenting whole screen once again now, and let's start with the SE toolkit, social engineering toolkit, right? I guess the whole screen is visible now. Yeah, so let's move to Kali. Kali also provides us with a tool called as SE toolkit. It's basically done for the social engineering attack itself. So yeah, so let's move towards that SE toolkit. Yeah, so do you agree the terms and conditions? Yes, of course. So we are greeted with the banner here. So yeah, let's start with the discovering about the menu, right? So let me zoom it. Yeah, so you can see various options we are getting here. First one is the social engineering attacks, which we are going to demonstrate now. Second one is the pen testing. Third one is the third party modules, and fourth one is the updates on the social engineering toolkit. The same, we can say, the same tool that we are using now. It's the updates related to that. Okay, and for setting the configuration, and last menu tells us about the helps and credits, all about the description of the, we can say, the social engineering toolkit. So yeah, well, let's start with the social engineering attack. Select the option 1 here and press enter. So yeah, we are redirected to the next menu, which gives us more options, such as spear phishing attack vectors, website attack vectors, infectious media generator, creating a payload, as I have told you in the Metasploit framework as well. We can do it using the SE toolkit. We are basically delivering the payload generated by the SE toolkit using malicious calls and emails, right? So we can, yeah, as I have told you, you can deliver the payload to the victim machine using any method. So yeah, that's one of the options provided by that, right? So next one is the mass mailer and all other things. You see here, you can see an option that Arduino based attack vector is also provided. Basically, Arduino, as we know, is a custom board in which we can program our operations, and we can get their operations done using many types of other devices connected to it, right? Basically, such as what we can say, the sensor, the ultrasonic sensors on other sensors, right? So basically, it also provides with that also. So the another one are the QR code generator attack vectors, wireless. So you can see here the possibilities are various here. Possibilities are endless, right? So we are moving further with the website attack vector here, because we have to get the credentials of the, what we can say, the victim, right? So we will move with the website attack vectors, right? Yeah, so we are getting redi- uh, redi- redirected to the another menu in which we it asks for different types of methods uh, that we have to choose, from which we have to basically exploit the victim, right? So you can see a brief description of each and every method here. Says that the Java applet attack will spoof a Java certificate and deliver a Metasploit based payloads. Yeah, and the next one is the Metasploit browser exploit, right? This will utilize the select Metasploit browser exploits through an iframe. Such, yeah. So you are getting all the descriptions about all the methods right here. No need to tell, you can discover it, right? So yeah, we are moving with the option third, right? Credential harvester attack method, right? So let's move towards that. Yeah, so now it's asking for us that in which way you want to basically hack your victims, right? So it's telling us about three options, right? Website template, site cloner, and custom import. So as I have uh, as I have told you, we can basically clone a whole website on based of the URL given there, right? So we will not clone here, we will use the website template option, right? So let's go with the website templates. Yeah, so it's confirming about the IP, or because we are the listener, right? We are the attacker. We have to set the IP here. So let's enter, and yeah, so now it's asking for the what we can say, the templates that we have to choose, right? So it's providing three templates: Java required, Google, and Twitter. So we will move with the Google. So yeah, it's started to listening, and it says the website is successfully cloned now. So basically I have to do nothing here. Basically I have to get only my IP into the victim's browser, right? So let me show you that, right? So sorry, accidentally close that. Yeah, so I will simply paste my IP in the search box, right? And you can see there is no difference between the original login page of sign in page of Google and I have created it. So you can see how easily a hacker can get you. Basically, he will create a type of situation in which we have to enter our credentials. Like enter my credential here. So let's put that I like hacking at gmail.com, and let's put the password as like this. And whenever I sign in, it will be redirect to the original Google page. So let me search to anything. So it is the original website page of Google itself, right? So basically the attack is done, the credentials are gone towards the we can say the hacker. So let's view the credentials now. As you can see here, yeah, so you can see the email and the password that I have entered here, right? So basically it's a type of hacking in which the hacker hacks a guy in seconds, right? It does not takes 2-3 seconds to clone a whole website or a whole sign in page, right? So he makes you believe that you are going to get you are getting into authentic website and getting your credentials extracted by that method, right? So you can see I had entered the email as I like hacking at the rate gmail.com and the password as the hacker, right? Basically this link will never close then if he is redirected. If I go to the what we can say the IP address once more, and I have entered the another type of mail ID. So let me enter anything else, right? So let's sign in. So yeah, he is again directed to the victim is again directed to the Google website in which it is authentic Google website, but basically it doesn't sign in. You guys can see here it is not signed in, right? Whenever in you sign in Google, here our basically our profile picture occurs, right? But it's not signed in here. So yeah, that's the way in which the social engineering attack is done. So you can see the email I have typed here is I like hacking gmail2 .com the hacker. And again, this was the first information that I extracted from one user, and that's the another information that I extracted from the another user. So you can see how easily hackers fool us in such type of situations, right? So uh, talking about the hackers, that malicious guys, let's discuss some of the famous hackers around the world now. So let me share my presentation. So we are done with the social engineering attacks, and yeah, so let's move towards the malicious guy that we were discussing, that fool us, basically, that fool the innocent people, fall them, make them victim and extract the information there, right? So first hacker, a renowned hacker, was Gary McKinnon. He was basically an American guy, an American hacker. He basically hacked into hundreds of American military and NASA servers, in which he extracted various types of information. Basically, he did not had the intentions of getting some money or making some money by hacking, but he was the hacker who have deleted many sensitive files, for softwares and folders from the servers of NASA and American military agencies, right, FBI and others. Right? Okay, basically uh, he he also gave an interview in which he disclosed that he found the files regarding to the American research for extraterrestrials and other things, right? But the files were never made to the internet, and the guy was arrested, right? So let's move towards the another guy. That's Kevin Mitnick. Kevin Mitnick, being an American guy, at he was passionate about hacking from his childhood, right? Basically, he first hacked the punch card system in its, we can say, the local transportation system in America uses some kind of card, right? Like we use the metro card to travel in metro. So basically, the bus service that were provided by the government used a punch card, or type of card. And this guy had, we can say, the bypass the punch card at the age of 12, and basically was traveling for free throughout his city, right? So he was passionate about hacking from his childhood as well. So he also had many types of attacks on US organizations and other organizations such as FBI and other things, and making it way to the Pentagon is basically most secretive agency, or building in which all the US government secrets are held there, right? So he also hacked into Pentagon and extracted the data. He was sentenced to the jail for some time, and after which he continued to be a white hat guy, in which he had become a security consultant and started his journey as a security consultant, and basically founded his own security company. And yeah, so this was the story of Kevin Mitnick. So the last one is Albert Gonzalez, basically son of Cuban refugees. He was an American guy, and we can say American guy, in which he bought his first computer at the age of 12 using his own money, and was very passionate about the hacking, as I said. So basically, he managed to he attended the South Miami High School in Miami, Florida, and basically hacked his own school's, we can say, the database, and extracted all the information regarding those students and the faculties there. So yeah, he was arrested for that, and had not sentenced because he was a minor according to the US laws, but he was given a punishment of I think he was at home arrest for, I guess he was at home arrest for 6 months or so. I did not remember the exact number, but he was at home arrest and was banned from using computer for some time. So basically, after this, at the age of 28, he basically got his most we can say the malicious attack on the on the US servers or in your United States, in which he stole 1.5 million credit card numbers, in which all the credentials of the credit cards and were we can see hosted on its website. The website had 300 members, in which all the members used to download the information about the credit cards, and we can say got the money from using the credit card credentials there. So he was one of that guy uh, whose you can say uh, whose intentions were to get some money by using the hacking itself, right? So I guess I have done now. Purnendu, you can take over now.
Yeah. So so now we will be seeing the dark website. We'll be accessing the dark website by understanding what Tor browser is, what is dark web, and all that things. So we'll be accessing the Tor using the virtual machine Kali. So Tor is the onion router. So there are lots of things that we can explore on the Tor network. I've opened some sites. I'll be uh, telling you about them. So the Tor browser is basically known for giving the anonymity. So why do we need anonymity? Because we don't want our browsing history to be get opened by anyone, or we don't want anyone to get our browsing patterns, what we are surfing, and all that things. So we need anonymity. So for this, there is a Tor network, and this is another we can say a different network where everything is secured and no one knows from where the thing is going. So in normal ISP connections, what happens is if I am the sender, I am pinging Google, so the packet will be sent to Google and it will be known that the request has been sent from this XYZ person. But in Tor it's not the case. In Tor it's like uh, when I send a request, it will be routed to a person A, or we can say a router A that's placed in some country in the world. Then the router A redirects that package to another router B, and then router B to router C, and then router C finally transmits it to the receiver, the original receiver. So there are three, we can say, encryptions in the browsing of Tor while we do browsing using the Tor browser. So we can easily install the Tor browser using the sudo apt install Tor, and to run we can just write Tor, or we can search in the menu for Tor. It takes a quite time for installing, so I've already done the installations, and for opening also it takes a bit time, because for establishing the secure connection and all that things, it requires some time. So I've already opened this. So if and when I open this, so already my IP is hidden and it already has a uh, what we can say VPN, because everything is masked and nothing is open. So if I not IP, if I search for my IP, so here you can see it's a bit slow, but it's worth it for the encryption it's providing. So, and it has a lot of data, and we should wisely use it. We should use it protected. So this is my IPv4. I've not enabled any VPN, or not, just I'm accessing using Tor. So this is my IP, and if we see here the SSL certificate, so this is the Tor circuit, this is the browser. This browser is sending first request to Sweden, then that the server in the Sweden is sending the request to the United States, then to Germany, and then to the receiver, that is the DNS which I want to access, that is the what is my IP address.com. So this is the three level protection the Tor provides. And interesting fact here is that no two servers know that from where the data has come, and uh, from where the data is coming. So the Sweden server will not know from where the data is coming, and same with the United States. So it remains between them only, and they don't know the complete path. So Sweden will only think that I have to send this packet to United States, and United States will think that I only have to send to Germany. So they don't know that it's actually going to what's my IP address.com DNS server. So this is it. So there is a hidden wiki. So this is the Wikipedia of the dark web. Here we can get all kinds of stuff. So there are a lot of links for accessing. So if we just search on the DuckDuckGo browser, DuckDuckGo browser is more secured, and it does not get access to our cookies and browsing history. It's completely safe for searching the Tor. So if I go to hiddenwiki.com, so mm, I have opened the. These are the open links for the hidden wiki. So if I open for the first link, so this is the hidden wiki page. There are a lot of articles there. So they have divided it into different parts. So if we see the financial services, there are various PayPal and other wallets account. So what they do is they ask for some money, and they will, in return, they will be giving uh, account which will be having a lot of credits. So this is a type of things which are going on in the dark web. Or we can get the fake passports and fake what we can say authorized documents uh, from here. Also we can check our browser info and traceability. That's the general thing. There are some secure email and messaging applications also. So without without entering much details, we can easily send a mail. So if I open this, so this is mail to Tor. So I will register here. So username I will just QWERTY, and so if this I have created a mail account, and if I log in using that, so let's see. So the username was what, and okay. So this is the mail, and I can see it was already the word is what we can say generally used from. So it was already used by someone. We can see there are mails dated to old dates. So this is it, and we can use it anywhere for doing what we can say unauthorized things. There are if we go to compose mail, there are a lot of options here. So we can set the priority high. We can inbuilt give the read recipient on or off. So if in Gmail we have to if we have to see whether our email is open or not, so we will be needing a third party software for that. But this mail browser has inbuilt features for all that things. Also we can attach files and all that things. So this is uh, the sending mails, and there are a lot of things for there. So there are a lot of stuff related to ethical hacking also. So all the contents or all the tricks and hacks which can't be published on the normal net, we can found it here. So I've just given a basic rough idea. It's what I've shown here is just nothing, because showing it on a publicly platform is kind of risky. So you have to self explore it. I've told you the way that how you can start it, and once you can start, you can deep dive into it's like a vast ocean, we can say, and the more you go inside, the more you can explore. So I've just given a way to how to start, and you can uh, go it. Also you can find there is a Z library book. Most of you might be knowing also Z library. So there you will be getting a lot of books for free if you anyone is interested in reading novels, or also books related to our course, that is academic books. We will be getting it for free, and there is a lot of stuff to explore in the Tor browser. So just you have to go to your VMware and install sudo apt install Tor. It will get installed, and it will open. For surfing you will be required a bit time, because they are, as we can see in every site, every SSL site, we can see that there are three minimum three transitions of packets. So this will require time. So this was about the Tor version. Now we will be starting with the burp suite. So this is the burp suite. So I will show it from the first. I hope you all have installed the burp suite. If not, please do it, because in next 5 to 10 minutes I will be demonstrating how to use burp suite, and we will be doing some SQL injections which we are doing yesterday, which we have done I think yesterday or day before yesterday. But in that we are using it on the local server, but now we are going to do it on the website. So there are a lots of labs available for doing practicing. They are paid as well as free. So we will be doing such hands-on station on one of the free labs that is available. So let's see. So first we'll go with the burp suite. So this is the burp suite. I'm opening a temporary project now, and we'll start the burp with default settings. So what burp do is, if I open a website, for example github.com. So when so this is loading here right now. So there are a lot of things that are happening, that is a lot of requests are being sent from my browser to the server, and for that I am getting a particular response. And after all this successful transaction of sending the responses and sending the request and getting the responses, the site gets slowed. Maybe there's some problem with my network. It's taking some time to open, but still there are some requests that are sent, and for that request we get a response, and the site gets open. So burpsuite is a tool where we are going to manually check the request that is being sent, and if we want to do some alterations, we are going to do the alterations, and then we are going to send that request forward. So there is an intruder option and the proxy. So we are going to see these two things. So if we go in the proxies tab, there is an intercept button. So intercept on is like we are intercepting the requests that are being sent. So we will be doing this, but first we will have to set the proxy, because all the requests now what is happening currently, if in normal, when I click on GitHub, through my IP address it's sending the request. But now what I want to do, I want to add a third person there. So when I enter github.com, it should send a request to Burp Suite, and then that Burp Suite will send a request to the GitHub server. So I'm adding a third middle person there. So for that, I will be needing what we can say, an IP address or a proxy. So I will be configuring proxy. So all the requests that I am making through this browser will be first sent to the Burp Suite via the proxy I am allocating, and then the Burp Suite will send that request to github.com, and then whatever response it gets, it will go to whatever IP I've configured, and from that IP it will be reflected on my browser. So first thing what we'll have to do is we will have to set a proxy for that. So in the settings, I will have to go in the Chrome settings and advanced, um, here system, open your computer proxy settings. So please see these steps carefully, because you have to do this on your system, and while performing the task which we will be giving, you have to set this up. So you just follow, you can do this side by side. So are you doing this? Have you opened the Burp Suite? Have you completed the installations of the Burp Suite? If you do this with me, if you do this simultaneously, it will be beneficial for you, and you'll get a clear understanding of that, and it will be easy for you to do the task. So please reply, are you doing it? Have you installed the Burp Suite, or have you just downloaded and waiting for instructions to download it? So what's your current state? Yes, Deepak, you have started, you have message. So is it complete, and are you able to open the Burp Suite? Okay, you have installed. So have you opened the Burp Suite, and are you on the page which I have opened currently? That is the what we can say, proxy, or you can see the dashboard proxy and etc. Okay, Mushtaq, Ahmad, have you, everyone? I'm asking everyone. Have you? So Dilip is finished with the installation and he has opened. Everyone others, have you done it? Are you ready with the Burp Suite? Okay, two guys have done, I think. So what about others? Arya, Arvind, Athulijit, have you completed it? Are you ready with it? Okay, so we'll go to the browser and open computer proxy settings. So here I will be use a proxy server for Wi-Fi connection. So I have set up a proxy. This is my local address and port is 8080, and I have saved this settings. Now I will be going to the Burp Suite, and I will be going to the options, and here I have configured the same IP for my proxy, that is 127.0.0, and port number is 8080. Now I will be going to the intercept, and the intercept is on. So now if I go to the, I will do this side by side, and I'll close it. If I now do github.com, uh, just a second, intercept off, and I'll close it. So I have turned on the intercept, and I will be writing now github.com. So I was doing forward, and it was accepting one request that it wanted to send to get an access, and finally the page was loaded here. But here I've missed one thing, that uh, these are all HTTPS websites. That is all are secured. So for that, we for to use the intruder settings here, intercept settings here, we will be needing to configure the CA certificates. So for that, first will be go to options, and here you will be seeing an option of import/export CA certificate. So click on that, and then certificate in DER format. Now next, choose a file to export, and you can just write a name. You can say CA underscore cert, and it will be saved. And just click on next. The certificate was successfully exported. Now on the desktop, this is the CAR cert. I will just rename that to file extension of .der. Now it's ready. So now go to Google Chrome, uh, settings, and here you can type certificates. In security tab, you will be seeing manage certificate, and then go to the trusted root certificate and
Guys, please wait for a minute because configuration of Bobsuit basically disconnects the present internet connection. So he will join. Yeah, he have joined.
no. So from where you are not able to see? Hello? From when I got disconnected?
I guess you are on the connecting and you were installing something, and when you clicked on next, it got disconnected.
Installing something or what? CA certificates? Are you able to see the CA certificate thing?
Yeah. The CS certificate were visible. The extension changing, you have done that also is visible. The further step was, I guess, the time when you disconnected.
Okay, no, the problem here is that what I have set a proxy here. So the thing is, it will take a bit time until I accept the intruder accept. Until I forward here from the, I will forward from here. It will take us time. So maybe it will get disconnected. So actually, I'm not doing it on a Kali machine or on a VM. It's on base machine, so it may face this problem. So okay, so you have got the idea how the intercept is working and what we are doing here. So now we will be going to portsfigure .net. So portsfigure is a company who is providing the burp suit, and they have some what we can say labs, virtual labs for practicing the ethical hacking. So you go there and register there, login, create an account and login, and from that go to the academy. Click on the academy tab. There you will be seeing there are some learning materials and there are some labs also. So the first lab I am going to demonstrate how needs to be solved, and the second lab will be a task for you, and you will be doing that lab. So let's just confirm I have set the proxy. Yes, I have set up. So I will be solving this first one for you all, and the second you will be doing as a task. So what they are saying in the first is this is a SQL injection. We have done SQL injection yesterday, and that was in the what we can say DVW, that is the damp vulnerable web application. So it was locally host, but now today we are going to see that on the what we can say on virtual and online lab. So the problem statement goes like this. So this lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. So the result from the query are written in a application response. So you can use union attack. We have seen the union attack yesterday, and from using that, we are going to retrieve the data from the tables. So the first step of such an attack is to determine the number of columns. So yesterday, if you might be remembering, so our command to find the number of columns was not working. So we are passing null null the number of times, and it was not giving a response. Maybe it was not working on local, but here it will be working. So the first step on such an attack is determining the number of columns being returned. So we are going to find the number of columns in this database. So we'll access the lab now. It takes a bit time to set up the lab. So this is the page. So what I will just do it 50-50, and proxy is set, intercept is on. Okay, maybe intercept is off. So if I click on lifestyles, for example,
Purnendu, sorry to interrupt, but are you sharing the screen now?
yes,
The screen is not visible here.
okay. Now,
Yeah, now it's visible now.
okay, so I think it's due to that
Yeah, the
proxy
proxy
which we have
network.
set.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I will just again, so the you have to go to the, I will just again share, tell what I was telling. Go to postswigger.net. I will post a link also. You have to log in there, and this is the link. You have to create an account there. First create an account, and we will be doing the first task that is shared here, that is the SQL injection union attack. So I will access the lab. uh, is there any way to undo it? Okay, no. So I've clicked on the lifestyle tab, and it's going to brave. Huh. So this is the request. As there are a lot of tabs open, so it was a bit difficult for me to search this. So this is the request. I had clicked on lifestyle. So this is the query here. Get filter category lifestyle. So what I will be doing is I will be passing and I will be injecting an SQL statement here. So please confirm, is my screen visible? Am I audible?
Yes, Purnendu, screen is visible and you're audible too.
So here what I will be doing is like we have done yesterday, we are inserting the SQL commands here. So in the same way, yeah, we are doing here, the things are same, just we are doing in the inspect thing. Today we are doing in the using Burp Suite, we are intercepting the request and we are changing it because it's a live hosted thing, and yesterday what we are doing was a local host thing. So lifestyle, so I will add here union plus select. So I have what I have added a one null here. So one null, I'm checking if there are one columns or not. So if I forward this request, I'm seeing here a internal error, internal server error. So now again I will have to go through that, search that query. Sorry guys, I've disconnected, I think so. It's mainly because of this thing which we are doing here. Actually, we should have done this on the VM, but I didn't have sufficient time to set it up on the VM. And if we are not using the internet, then it's easy to work on. You guys can find it easy. So we will continue what we are doing. So I have injected the SQL query here in the lifestyles thing. So I will on the intercept and I will send a lifestyle this.
So the Purnendu, the are you presenting the screen is not visible because
Yeah. Pranav, can you do one thing? You have a Windows VMware, right? So can you install a Burp Suite and we can go there so we can have a seamless.
yeah, as we have discussed, I have installed that. Okay, so let me present the screen now.
Yeah, that will be good then. So I will just tell you the steps there.
Yeah. I will just present my screen now.
Yeah,
Just I've installed it as I've discussed. Okay, so I think the whole screen is visible, right?
just a second. I will turn off the intruder. Yeah, I can see. So go to the Windows then.
Yeah,
Windows.
yeah, yeah. The Bob suit is open now. Just
Go to
let
the
me know.
browser now.
Okay,
Open the
browser.
browser and open the link which you have pasted in the this post figure. You'll have to create an account first.
Okay. Just a minute.
You can create here and log in there. Then you can do.
Okay. If you're created one, just give me the credentials. I will log in there. Will that be okay for you?
Yeah, sure.
So you did, the I think the creation would take the time some.
No, no,
Okay.
no. It will not take time. You created a login. Sign up, sorry.
Sorry. Create account.
Create.
Yeah. So what's here? What's the
Can you
problem?
install Chrome? It will not take a time, I think.
Yeah. Just a minute. Let me install Chrome then. Usually the Chrome was installed, but I redirected to the Fresh install, right? So it
Okay.
didn't delete it.
Sorry, guys. We are taking a bit time because I knew that the HTTP request would create a problem, but I was not aware that it would create so much mess.
प्रॉब्लम है। Punendu, till the installation is done, you do one thing: you create a dummy account, right? So it will be helpful.
Yeah, yeah,
You create a dummy account with the dummy credentials just to show them.
yeah.
Yeah, so the time will be saved as well. Not starting the download.
Till that time, I think you have not configured the CA certificate. You can do that.
Just tell me the steps, right? Uh,
Proxy, go to proxy,
yeah,
uh, options. Besides HTTP history and WebSocket
yeah, I
options,
got it.
import export CA certificate.
I
Uh,
guess in the year format, right?
Next, no,
Sorry, export. We
export.
have to export, right?
Next, type any name which you want in the desktop. You can save it on the desktop.
Just a minute. Mistakenly clicked on the.
No, select file, go on desktop and type the file name there. Go to desktop and type. You can like CA cert any will do. I think Chrome is asking for some permissions. Current.
Yeah, just yeah, it's not sorted, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CA,
So
save it as CA cert. Yeah.
okay.
And save. Yeah. And okay, next.
Next,
Yeah. Close.
I guess the extension needs to be
Yeah.
changed, right?
Yeah. Change it to DER. Dot DER.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's, I think the certificate is exported. Let's wait for 5 minutes. Then we will down from there, right?
So till the time, have you created an account on Portswigger? Are you ready with your accounts? Have you done the login?
Guys, you are ready with the accounts, I think. Please, someone acknowledge us.
Yes. Are you? Have you done the login and are you ready with it?
Yeah, I think the Chrome installations is done, Purnendu.
So
Just a minute.
go open that link and go to login, and for a moment you can stop the sharing and enter the credentials I've shared with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, Purnendu, it's logged in now.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now go to the academy part.
just wait a minute. Just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Academy.
And go to the first lab. Firstly, open a new. Go to Chrome settings first, and we will have to set the proxy first, and import the CA certificate.
Okay, okay. Yeah, then settings now, right?
Yeah. Go to scroll down in advanced. Yes, open your computer in system. Open your computer's proxy settings and type the 127.0.0.1 colon 8080. Turn on the manual proxy. Scroll down. Use a proxy server. Turn it on. And 127.0.0.1 port 8080 dot 0.1 and port 8080.
Okay.
Yeah,
Save,
and
right?
save. Yeah, and now type certificates in the search box of settings. Close it.
Is it saved, right?
Yeah, it's saved. It's saved.
Okay.
In the
So
type in the search certificates and import. We'll have to import that certificate now.
we're here right now.
Yeah, type certificate. So in security, go in security and scroll down manage certificates. And then in the trusted root certificate, not here, trusted root certificate, import it. Next, you will have to select all files. In the browse, select all files.
We have to basically.
Import that certificate from here. It's yeah, right, but you'll have to change the file extension. It's .cert. No, you'll have to select it as all files. Then you can see. Yeah, export it. Next, next, finish. Yes, imported successfully. Okay, I will just test it whether everything is working or not. Close this certificate thing. Now open the Bob suite and go to intruder. So no, go to proxy, not intruder, proxy, and go to intercept and turn on the intercept. So it's on. Okay, so just off, turn it off once and turn it on then. And now go to the browser. You can split the screen in two halves. Go to the Chrome browser which you are using and type github.com. Yeah, enter. So it's not doing anything, right? So click on
Yeah.
forward. Keep clicking on forward. So next, yeah, keep clicking.
Yeah, it's. I think I
So
see it.
after all the requests we have forwarded it, then our GitHub is loading. So we can see we have to manually forward each and every request to open the github.com. So we are including whatever request it's sending directly. We are getting access to it through the IP which I have configured, that is 127.0.0.1. Then we are manually seeing, okay, this is the request. If I want any change, I will make any changes and then I will forward it. So the same thing now we are going to do in the lab. So Pranav, close all the tabs, just keep the dashboard of post finger and scroll down and go to the first lab.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Let me make it full screen now.
Yeah, first we'll explain the problem and then we will see how we can solve it.
Yeah. So Academy, right?
Scroll down. Yeah, scroll down now and go to the labs. The last option is there.
Yeah. Just. Purnendu, I think we have to turn the intercept
Yeah,
off.
you have to turn the intercept off to get a normal. Yeah, and now you can go there. You can Refresh. Click on academy. Yeah.
I
Now
think we
scroll
are on
down.
the academy itself, right?
Yeah, scroll down now.
Yeah.
Vulnerability labs. View all. Click on view all. So the first, click on the first lab.
This one, right?
Yeah. So here what we have to do is we have to find the number of columns present in the database. So this is the first step of any SQL injection. We have to find the number of columns that are present in the uh, database. So the problem statement is saying that this lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. So we'll see where it is, and the result from the query are written in a application's response. So you can use a union attack, which we have seen, and we can retrieve the data using that. So the first step, as I've said, is we have to determine the number of columns that are present in the database. So for that, we will be sending the null values. So access the start the lab, Pranav, please. Okay, now we are inside the lab. Now we can see this is the table, and what they have mentioned is that inside the product category filter there is a vulnerability. So there is a refine search option, all accessories, clothing, shoes and accessories. So what is this is a filter, we can say. So there is a vulnerability present here, so we have to inject a SQL statement here. So now Pranav, split the screen in two halves and open the burp suite and interpreter. So turn on the interceptor. No, in the proxy, turn it on just. Yeah. So now we will be sending all the requests to our proxy server. Right now, click any on any of the category. For example, you can click on lifestyle or accessories, anything. Okay. So now we have got the request. So wait, don't forward it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now, what are you able to see? What is written on the burp suite menu? Are you able to see it clearly?
Guys, are you able to see the information written on the burp suite menu? Please acknowledge.
Is it clearly visible? Is it readable? Yes. Are you able to read it? Because we are going to write a query there. Can you zoom? Okay. No, I don't think we will be able to. Okay, so don't do it. Don't split it in two screens. We'll do it one by one.
I don't see any zoom option here.
No, we can't zoom box food, I guess. Okay, we'll continue. So here the first is and they have written new category is equal to lifestyle. So we have clicked on lifestyle. So this is the query where we are injecting the SQL. So we are going to write here the command. Pranav, please type it. After the what we can say lifestyle, give a single inverted comma in the first line after lifestyle.
Uh,
In the first line, get category is equal to lifestyle.
okay. So,
Inverted comma uh, plus single inverted only on one side, single,
okay.
just after lifestyle without space, inverted comma, lifestyle inverted comma then plus.
Yeah, just a minute, just a minute.
You are ready? Are you ready, Pranav? Shall I tell the next thing?
Yeah, just a minute, right? Punendu, do one thing. Just send me the code, right? I will copy paste here.
No, I will tell you. Right, it will be better. There's nothing. You are going right after. It's right up till now. After the plus, that just delete that inverted comma and write union all in caps.
Right?
Then plus, yes, plus select.
Select in cap or
Yeah, everything in caps will do.
okay,
Select plus
okay.
null hyphen hyphen. Okay, now just forward it. So what we are doing is we are sending a one null. Now just go to the browser. It says invalid request held. No.
Should I reload it or?
Yeah, reloaded. Turn off the intercept and reload. Reload it. You have to turn off the intercept and reload it. Reload. Okay, now turn it on and then again click on live stream. Have you clicked on live stream?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Forward it. Okay, now again just type that thing. Inverted comma, single inverted comma,
Okay.
union. No, plus union, huh? Union plus select plus null hyphen hyphen.
Do we have to close the inverted commas there, or we have to just make it like that?
No, you have to just keep it like that only.
Oh, okay. Just I will forward that, right?
Yeah. So what you are getting there?
Yes. Internal server error. It's giving internal
Okay.
server error.
Yeah, it's right because there are more than one column. So now again forward that thing from here. Again forward it. Again. Again. Okay. So turn off the intercept and again reload it.
Okay, Purnendu. Hello.
Yeah, it's right. So now we will be typing null twice. So again do the same thing. Inverted comma plus union plus select plus null comma null
Comma null or plus null?
comma null and hyphen hyphen. Now
Okay.
just forward it. Uh,
The inverted commas. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, forward it. So are we getting internal server error? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now go to the HTTP history and try to find that URL which you have just passed. That is, we have sent slash filter slash lifestyle, right? So try to find that
Which one?
slash filter slash lifestyles.
Slash filter category lifestyle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right. Click on that. Okay. So now on the original request, there you can see a drop down. Click on that
Where?
below. Uh, yeah, original request. Besides, yeah, edit request. Okay. Now right click there. Uh, that there itself, right click and send it to repeater. So now we will not have to do the things which I have done twice or thrice here. So we have sent this part of portion to the repeater portion, and we will be able to do it there. So go on repeater. So this is the code which we are trying. So which we need to recursively do it. So now Pranav, add one more null here and try sending it. Send it. So this is the response. They have what so we have fetched this. So yeah, they are saying that you have solved SQL injection union attack determining the number. You have successfully completed the step. We have successfully completed the first lab here because we have found out there are three columns, because after three nulls it's sending me a HTML page. Just for demonstration, Pranav, add one more null there and again send it and send it. It's giving internal server error because now I have entered four nulls aiming that I think there are four columns, but it's not true. So it's giving me internal server error. Any value except 3, it will give me the server, but for exact 3 values they have configured in a way that it will show me a page that yes, you have successfully completed the first task. So again you can go for 3 nulls and show what's the page coming. So this is it. So in our browser also you can show it in the browser what it's showing. So it's an internal server error page. Why? Because we are not sending this to the browser itself. We are seeing the responses in the burp suite. If we need to see the response in the browser, then what we have done twice or thrice, that we are going to the proxy intruder proxy, then we are setting it, then it was giving internal server error. Okay, then we are again typing the whole command and then again seeing, and we are doing that repetitively. So what we did, we send that action to the repeater itself, and that in the repeater our code was that the same which we type, and from that it was easy to for us to edit it. So using a repeater we were repeating our actions by changing few things accordingly, whatever seems to be useful, and we were getting the results. So if you want to see in the browser, then Pranav, go to the proxy again and type 3 times null in the intercept option, not in the HTTP history, in the intercept. Again you will have to
Yeah, yeah. To
reload, or you will have to do yeah, complete step. So instead of doing it, send it to repeater and get our task done there itself. So this was the first task. Second task is similar to this, and you all have to do it, and we will be waiting for your response that you have completed it or you are facing some queries or anything. So the first who will unmute himself and see that yes, I have completed the task, then uh, we will see the task and completion, and if everything is right, then he will be getting a post from our side.
maybe the command was plus union plus.
Select plus null comma null comma null, hyphen hyphen, and yeah. So it's showing that congratulations, you solved the lab. It's getting giving the right page. So It was not giving earlier. It was saying that internal server error. So this was right, and we got the answer. So this was the first lab. Now I expect you all to go for the second lab. And once you are done, please unmute yourself and acknowledge that you have completed the lab, and we can see that done. So do you want me to read or explain the second lab? What you have to do in the second lab? No, you can go back and go to the second lab. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want the explanation of that? What needs to be done in the second lab, or you can try it yourself? Yes. It's quite similar to what we have done. A minute change. Okay, Fazil is ready. Okay, Fazil has done. So Fazil, if you have no problem, then you can share your screen and tell us what you have done, so we can verify it. Then you can stop this sharing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so can you in short explain what you have done? I have changed second null to the database SC name. So you have passed that string which you have hy0 o9c you have passed in the second null, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's the right. Okay, good. So I think he is the first one to do it. Anyone else has done it? So uh, I'll be sharing you that course with you. I will be uploading it somewhere, and I'll be sharing with you. So you can ping me your Gmail address or email address, and I will share it with you definitely. So congratulations, you have done it. So you are aware of this beforehand, or you have just done it? So what is it? Is there any problem, Fazil, to unmute? Okay, you have. I have tried others. Okay, so it was quite basic for you. I thought that most of them would haven't done this, so I kept it quite simple, quite simple. Anyone else has tried, so we can see this also. Okay, I'm still a beginner. Yeah, but this lab practicing this labs will be beneficial. Anyone else has done it? Anyone else other than Fazil? I would like to see theirs also what they have done, or any doubt they have, or how it's done. Any query. Fazil, you please send your email address on LinkedIn. I will share the course with you. Others, if you have done something, just show us, and um, let's see if it's quite good. Then we will also share the course with you. It's we would like to share with everyone who is doing the task, right? So anyone who have completed it, please share your status, or if you are facing any difficulties, or it's the case like if you are going to do it after some time because you don't have available resources right now, then convey that. Then we can think of something else we can do. And yes, if you don't have resources right now, what we can do is you share the screenshot, or you share the something, the steps which you have done to complete the task with Vishnu or anyone, and then we will see that, and we will be sharing the course with you guys also, right? So anyone is going to do or is doing on it, please share your status. Yes, I don't know why you guys are not responding to that. Okay, so we'll move forward. So this is the end of the workshop, I guess. So we have gone through quite a lot of things. We have seen a lot of things, and mostly everyone in the beginning is a script kiddie. So we have given a basic idea of how the script kiddie works, and we have seen a lot of pre type scripts, and also we have written a script of Mac Changer. So it depends on your interest, how you want to do, how deep you want to go. I've given a brief introduction of almost quite a lot of things, and also labs on which you can practice. So I would like to know your feedback. I will be pasting a feedback link in the chat box. Please share the feedback so we can improve ourselves. And it was quite nice interacting with you all. Please give your feedback, and this is the end of the workshop, I can say. Pranav, would you like to say anything?
Yes, Purnendu. Basically, the intent of conducting this workshop, as it was our first time for conducting this workshop, we were intended to make the attendees interested in the cyberspace initially, because you see, cyber experts are a bit lacking in India also, and there is a huge demand for the cyber experts. So we were eager to make someone. Uh, to know about the cyber security and its working and its potential. So yeah, it was a very good session for all of you, and we hope that this workshop had built some of interest in you also, and you will be motivated for your further uh, what we can say, you're further excelling in this field. So I wish you all the best in cyberspace and cybersecurity. Even though if you are not going to make any type of career in this space, but you see, we covered many of the points in which we told you about how we can be safe from the malicious guys or hacking groups, right? So the workshop was also intended in that way too. So I guess uh, that's all. Yeah. So
Yeah. Lastly, I
that's
would
all.
like to thank Vishnu for contacting us, and IEEE Palakkad, IEEE GEC Palakkad for giving us a platform. So thank you, everyone. We are waiting for the feedback as well. So Vishnu, we are done with our side. So this is it.
Okay, now that it has concluded, and before everyone leaves, I would like to invite Sudeep to thank our speakers and each and everyone who has participated in this program. Sudeep, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So I think we are at the conclusion of this 5-day workshop, and I can be sure in saying that the sessions were very interesting and engaging. So, on behalf of IEEE and IEEE CSGC Palakkad, I'd like to thank both of you guys for taking time off your schedule for doing this event. And I'd also like to thank all the attendees who participated actively, and I hope uh, I yes, you can provide some feedback for these guys after this. And I'd like to thank all of them for participating and making this event a success. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Pranav and Parananthi. We highly appreciate that you guys came and we called. And I think we will also include this form feedback link in our mail tonight.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure. It's a
thank you.
pleasure. We have got a great platform for sharing the knowledge what we have, and it was a great experience for all of us. Okay, so
Then I think people can leave now, right? Pranav, can you send me that link today in WhatsApp? That
Of
feedback.
what? Yeah,
That
I
feedback.
will.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. The link will be sent to you, Vishnu.
Okay.
So thank you, Vishnu. Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you, everyone. Please be safe and okay. So bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.